Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brother War Smith with the Black News Network coming at you live from San Antonio, Texas. I would first like to say that this show is going to be about something that's near and dear to all of us, and it's very important that we understand that it's about what is happening here in America and what we are going to have to endure if we just sit back and watch it happen. Well, it's about that big, I always want to say that big, black, beautiful bill, but it's not that big, black, beautiful bill. It's the big, beautiful bill being passed in the Senate right now. Now, it has been passed from the Senate, and now it is going, from the House, and now it is going to the Senate. When it gets to the Senate, it's going to be a whole different thing. Dive into it without my co-host, but before I go to my co-host, I want to say that it's not only about the big, beautiful bill. It's about repealing the 20th century. Now, you want to wonder why it's about repealing the 20th century. In the 20th century, everything started to change for the impoverished people in the United States of America. In other words, Social Security was initiated where we would be able to get some money at our retirement. Medicaid came about in the 20th century where we were able to get people that couldn't afford health care a card or something else to get them health care. So we're repealing the 20th century without us really knowing it. Like you always have to watch what's happening behind closed doors. But this is in front of us. There's a lot of shit going on behind us. So this is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news from a Black perspective. We don't own the rights to any music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Today, we have a special co-host, which is our every week co-host. He's always special because I call him that. But I want to introduce to some and present to others the one and only Mr. Claude Foster. And I want you to welcome him to the Black News Network.
Good afternoon, my brother. Glad to be here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon to talk about issues that are important to our listeners, that are important to our communities, and the subject today is this big, beautiful bill that we're going to talk about. And I guess big and beautiful is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're going to delve into that big, beautiful bill that just passed the House by, I think, by about 4 votes. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's in it and how it's going to impact those of you that is listening to the program today.
Mm-hmm. But and before we really dive into it, there's so much going on in the world today. I want you to realize that Gaza is in dire straits right now, and we don't really focus on what's actually happening across the world, but these people are being starved to death because of Israel. They're cutting off the food. And I'm just, my heart goes out to the kids and the families that can't feed their children. And when the children look up to their parents, you're supposed to protect me and you're supposed to make sure I'm fed and housed. What can a parent do in a situation like that? And it's nothing they can do. So the children now are basically thinking about how to survive on their own. It's a sad
situation. It's war is hell, and the consequences of war are even worse. So hopefully that it can get resolved over there. I mean, they've been fighting in that part of the world since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that. I don't see that ending anytime soon. I think right now they're just trying to negotiate to end the current round of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they need a long-term solution over there.
And then the Ukraine just went 4,000 miles into the Russian infrastructure and bombed an airport. The bombers that has been bombing Ukraine, they knocked out at least $6 billion worth of airplanes using drones.
That's a scary war. I mean, that could lead to unintended consequences over there, man. You got Europe involved, you got America involved, and you got the Soviet Union. I mean, World War III is not unimaginable.
These wars are just uncomfortable. Like the war between Russia and Ukraine is kicking up and it's getting ugly. It's been ugly. And the war between Israel trying to annihilate the Gaza Strip. Granted, when they attacked the Israel, it was wrong. It was 100% wrong. But the response from Israel is that now that you attack me, I'm going to annihilate you.
But let me ask our listeners the question. Okay, Israel has an Iron Dome, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got the best security system in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people go to them to learn how to secure their nations.
Mm-hmm.
How did a group of people fly over on helicopters and motorcycles come on, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. They let the guards down. They were not ready. Just like we run in certain places, we're not ready.
Did they let them down? Did they let it? But did they let the guards down to start another conflict?
Maybe they did. Maybe they're the ones who did the attacking. You never know who put all this stuff up for it to happen. It just happened, and it's wrong.
I'm just saying that October 6th was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to those people were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But people got conspiracies about 911 and starting a war. I mean, nobody never saw any planes actually crash into the buildings.
Mm-hmm. And nobody ever saw any weapons of mass destructions either.
But it was a clear example. That's what led to the war.
Yeah.
With Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Because Bush declared the war right on top of the rubble, right on top of all those people that had gotten killed.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
So, you think that's the first incident of a country initiating a catastrophe as justification for war?
There's no justification for that kind of whole society.
And the press.
I mean, it's terrible.
But this is how our world operates. So my point for bringing all this up is to say that you cannot allow yourself to sink into not being unprepared in America, because don't think we're beyond the same stuff that's happening overseas. We're just another country, just like they're just another country. And there's nothing to stop anybody from attacking us. So we have to be cognizant and aware that things can happen here just as well as they can happen abroad.
Well, Trump said America's going to build his own Iron Dome.
Well, you look at the size of Israel, right? And then you look at the size of America. Israel is the size of Chicago. And so now you're talking about building a dome that's going to cover an area of 1,000 times bigger than Chicago.
100,000.
It's almost like it's virtually impossible in the near future.
This country that way, huh?
But I don't think that I don't think our space program is just to get to space to see what's on the moon. I think it's to put rockets and stuff up there.
To launch satellites. That's what the space program is for. It ain't going. Ain't no doggone way. It's time to be trying to get to Mars, because we're not even sure we went to the moon yet. I don't believe we know. I don't think we went myself. To be honest with you, we ain't going up there.
A lot of people feel that way, that we didn't really go. That was just
it's too much. It's too much out there to say we did not go. This was back in the 60s. Now you talking about you going to the moon, and nowadays you can't get $1 trillion space shuttle to fly without blowing up. So you telling me you went to the moon back then? It's so much bull crap going on, man.
So you can't get a rocket
Not even 2 weeks ago, went spiraling across into the sea. This is brand new technology they trying to launch, and it didn't even work. So they put him on hold. He can't launch nothing else no time soon without some kind of stuff going on. But that's just a part of the problems going on here in this country. The next thing I wanted to just mention is Donald Trump has pardoned Todd and Julie Christie, as well as Scott Jenkins. Now, Todd and Julie Christie,
and don't forget the brother. Don't forget the brother now in Atlanta with the dogs. What was his name?
A brother with the dogs. Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Oh man, the singer.
Huh?
The singer, the brother.
No, I don't know about that one.
Well, he pardoned a number of brothers. The rapper down in New Orleans.
So he did some black folk basically.
About 3 of them, yeah. Remember, he got a sister over the pardoning program in his administration. He got that sister out of Alabama.
Black folks too.
So, but he not only them, Scott Jenkins is the county sheriff that he pardoned that was in jail, but he also pardoned the 1,500 people from the January 6th thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was earlier.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's just some of the things that's happening across the country today. The other thing I want you and everybody, I don't know, you probably know it already, that Massachusetts Institute for Technology, they just canceled their DEI program. So everybody, all the universities are trying to roll us back to all the advances we made in the 20th century. But we can't get that confused with the success of black people. This stuff didn't just make us the way we are. Our brains made us this far advanced. And DEI was just a boost, like an energy drink. Like the we still got the brain, we still got the energy, we still want to excel. I mean, right now, black people need to start focusing on black people, because I had this thought, and I want to throw this at you, Claude. If we went to a conference, right, and they tell you to come to this conference dressed like your culture, dressed into your culture. Mm-hmm. So you got a Chinese person, they can come like the old Oriental dress that they wear. You got the German person that can come in the old suspenders and skirts and bagpipes and all that bull crap. Well, the Scottish can come with the bagpipes, but the Koreans can come with something. The African can come with something in their own native dress, right? Mm-hmm. So how would you dress coming from this country?
Yeah, no, that's a hard one.
Okay, I can send you this picture, right? Of my the African community in Houston had an event, right? Mm-hmm. They was all dressed in African attire, correct? Mm-hmm. All the black politicians went in regular business suits. Mm-hmm. So what's that tell you?
European dress.
Right.
That's how we would dress. So when we go to that convention, we'll be wearing a suit and a tie, but there's no ethnicity to a suit and a tie. To me,
well, there is. There is to a degree now. When you agree that America, I mean European.
Mm-hmm. It is a European backdrop to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it'll be hard to figure out what to wear when they tell you to come to represent your culture, and then I thought about the food, the soul food, and all. I'm just babbling right now, but let's get down to where we are.
Well, let me ask you a question while we're babbling. Give me your babble about this whole controversy around San Antonio's mayor using Ortez in a middle name. to fool the Hispanics?
Well, it happens all the time. I mean, just like for District 2, they have a guy, a Hispanic man, that's he's gay, and I just wanted to put that in there. And he used he played he advertised he was black. He's black and Mexican, but he's really Mexican. And he won the seat as under the African American pretense, and he got the black vote. So if you convince the people to vote for you, then you win, just like Donald Trump did. This is I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go on to our real subject. Donald Trump and the rich really had a very, very positive plan to convert the poorest people in America to believe the rhetoric that black people was getting more than they should get. So in order for you to stop the black people from getting more than they should get, you need to vote for me. You need to make America great. I need your vote, and if you're the poor, underclass, disrespected, ignored, you're the ones who are losing out while the black folks are gaining ground on you, because we got all these programs that are helping the black folks, and we need to get rid of those programs. So we're going to get rid of those programs and put the black folks back where they're supposed to be. And I need your vote to do it. So the very rich convinced the black people, not the black people, the very rich convinced the poor people of America, the white poor people, middle class and under, to vote for Donald Trump to get him in office. And what they're doing, that's what the very, very rich wants. They want to repeal all the benefits that are available here in the United States for the citizens. And that's how they got what they wanted. And this is just another extension of the 2025 plan. And they used it, and it's working. It's actually working. So with that, I want to segue into this bill that we're talking about, and how this bill really set us back to a position that we should not be in. It is called the Big Beautiful Bill. It's more focused on tax cuts, the border wall funding, the health care part, and the spending and deficit part. And then the last one, not with the last part, but another part is the air traffic controller part. The biggest part that's going to affect the poorest people in America is the health care part and the spending and deficit part. So under the health care part, they want to put out strict requirements for children, for the Children's Health Insurance Program. In other words, the poor people got this CHIP program where the kids can get seen for free. You get prenatal care, you get all this care, and you get baby care when the baby's born. You get all this automatic stuff that's happening for an underprivileged child in America. Right. That's the first cut that they want to do. They want to cut that under the health and care thing. And not only that, it shuts down. Well, it doesn't shut it down, but it removed funding from the SNAP program. It removed, that's basically the nutrition program for the kids. It just goes down the line, taking money out of all of these services that our children get. And I think the first effect is going to be the the school lunch program. That's where I think we're at right now. That's a big deal.
Well, how do you think this administration convinced so many people at the lower end of the economic side of society to vote for him?
Melanin.
How did he do that?
You can only use the one thing you know that it can turn America against America. You focus on black folks. You focus on what the sons of slaves have received in order to balance the playing field. If you focus on that as a campaign promise and as a racist, you can convince a big portion of America. And believe it or not, I think if it was allowed, if it could be slavery in America right now, even the poor people would be willing to work. If the poor white people would be willing to help create a system of slavery. And it is so easy to convert a white person to be against a black person in America because the majority of the white people will be against black people if the right rhetoric is used. They will be. We'll be in the. I mean, it's not hard to make the black person the victim, and you know as well as I know, the last to get hired, last to get fired, and the last to be put into a senior position. 99% of every corporation in America is ran by white people. So we're not in charge of pretty enough to make a difference to keep us from being that victim that they can create. A white person that's running for office like Donald Trump can create us as a victim very, very easy. And that's what he did. Not only black people, but he demonized Mexicans too. And the poor white people fell on this track like 40 going east, man.
How did he put a hokey doke?
Because he's a con artist to start with. He's a TV a reality show person to start with. He has the concept of entertainment in his mind.
But we collectively, African Americans, black people, Negro, colored, whatever you want to call us, we collectively are more educated and more sophisticated now than we've ever been in our history. How could our institutions are more equipped with leadership? Our churches are more equipped with leadership. How did we allow our people to be bamboozled into supporting
Donald Trump? First of all, I would say our people have not been bamboozled into supporting Donald Trump. Only one out of maybe 500 black people may support Donald Trump. And secondly, Donald Trump he can use us as a pawn. And that's exactly what he is doing. Whatever is good in America, if he can find something that black people are getting, and he can use that to turn white folks against black people, that's what he's doing. And he's taking it away, and the black folks are, yeah, that's what he said he was going to do, and he's done it. He's done exactly what he said he was going to do. So keep the paper. So it's not about us. We're not the supporters of him per se, but there are supporters in our ranks of Donald Trump. For instance, I believe in what he's doing. And I believe in what he's doing because Donald Trump is shaking up Washington, D.C. the way it should have been shook up years ago when Obama was in office. Because they have been status quo for the last 100 years. Somebody needs to change that status quo in order for something different to happen in America. If things stay the same in America, things stay the same. You know, we get the same shit. We're getting killed. We're getting no reparations. Nothing changes.
Well, let me ask you a question, my brother. Mm-hmm. It ain't the fact that he's cutting programs. He's putting the responsibility for the program back on the states. Most black folks are in these southern red states. Mm-hmm. And these states are not going to adequately and equitably take care of their black populations. They're not doing it now.
Right.
With the government providing most of the funding.
Right.
If the government cut out the funding in these red states, especially these southern states where the majority of black folks are, the consequence is going to be dire, man.
He's putting the responsibility back on the states, and the states are doing exactly the same principle. They're putting the responsibility back on the counties, and the counties are doing the same thing, putting the responsibility back on the individuals, and the individuals better be able to support themselves, or they're gonna be looking like the Gaza Strip over there.
Because the black towns and black counties in the South got black leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But black leadership,
figure it out. They better have it figured out by now, because they've had time to start working on these programs. You can't put your kids in school this summer with these cuts, because I think this bill is going to go all the way through. It's going to get approved. Hakeem Jeffrey was on today saying that ain't no way it's going to go through, but he had no defense. He had no defense of this bill. So this bill is going to pass the Senate too. Watch.
You think it's going to pass the Senate?
Hell to the yeah. This bill is a done deal. So you can rest assured that SNAP, that summer program where they feeding them kids, gonna get cut, and that Medicaid, Medicare gonna get cut. And if you're under these programs, Social Security gonna get cut. If you're under these programs, you better prepare yourself for what's about to happen, because America is not gonna fit the bill for what they are responsible for right now. This Medicaid, Medicare stuff is going to get cut. People are missing their appointments already. People going to having an operation, right? And they got to go back the next week for a follow-up with the doctor. And they go back the next week. The clerks don't believe the doctor can't see you today because you don't have this particular coverage on it. So now you ain't got nobody to cover you on this operation you just had. You don't know what the hell to do. You want to choke that damn clerk back there, but you can't. But you know that ain't her fault or his fault. Medicare has been cut. And they're so far behind. It's not real time funding. It's so far in arrears of the services that's rendered at these clinics and hospitals. So the people are going to suffer. The people. And we're going to be part of that suffering, but we're not going to be the only ones suffering. That's black people, white people, Hispanic people, and any other people in this country using this program will suffer because it's going to be cut. And that is where I'm worried about American people. And once all this stuff starts to slow down, what's the difference in what's happening in the Gaza Strip? Because when they cut the meat program, and you can get the reduced prices on these meat and it's milk and cheese and stuff like that and bread, then what's going to happen when they cut it down, when they're not going to do the prenatal care and not allow you to go get seen without charge? This copay stuff, you think your $20 copay going to stay the same? Your copay going to be $190 now. It ain't going to be $20. So everything is going to be different. And when you're just going to be the surprise person standing up there like Gomer Pyle, because nobody's telling you that this is what's happening. And that's what BNN come in. We're telling you that this is coming and you better prepare yourself.
And you know, food pantries around the country, you know, they're going to have to step up their game.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know, I mean, it's going to have a major. You don't cut $286 billion from a program and somebody not feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
286 billion. I'm sure that number's not going to change too much as it goes through the Senate.
It's not going to change. And the worst people going to suffer are our children. And Lord help us. Lord help us if our children start to feel like the children are feeling in the Gaza Strip right now, that the parents, you can't take care of me no more. Our refrigerator is empty. I ain't got no clothes to wear to school. My clothes are not clean and I can't wear them to school. I don't have electricity. I don't have water running in my house. When all these little things like that start to eat you up, don't say you haven't had time to prepare. I'm telling you now, stop your wasteful spending. Stop buying all this bullshit that you don't need. Focus on where you're headed in the future, because the future ain't going to be pretty. It's ugly. It's ugly. The spending deficit, it's cut the Medicaid and SNAP. It's like the supplemental nutrition. 60 step down. The debt ceiling is going to increase by $36 trillion. That's sad. Now, this is something that I did discover too. Money that's owed from this country. We owe people more money than you could think. We owe China $1.1 trillion. You think we're going to pay them their damn money? Hell to the no. We're not paying China. We're not going to pay Japan $1.2 trillion. This is what we owe these countries. We're not going to pay Luxembourg 37 or $374 billion. We're not going to pay Canada. Now, we didn't talk shit to Canada, and we're talking about owing Canada. We owe Canada $328 billion. We're not going to pay them. I mean, all these people got a definite hand in what's happening in our American government. And we ain't going to go to war with Canada about this tariff stuff. $328 billion. I'm sick of giving you y'all. Just give me my damn money, and I'm done with you. What are they gonna do?
What can they do?
They're not gonna pay them. They're not gonna pay them the money, and that's what's sad. I mean, we don't know how to get out of this problem. We ain't got no clue of how we're gonna get out of our problem here. We can't get out our own damn way, basically. That's kind of what I'm saying. So what do? I don't know.
Well, I think part of what we do, I think we've always been a resourceful people in this country. We've existed and made our way without government, and we may be going back to those days.
I think we should. But see, we had neighborhoods back then. We don't have neighborhoods now. Nobody, I bet you can walk out your front door right now and you can't tell me everybody on your street. I ain't gonna say everybody like that, but most of us are like that. And most of us got psychological issues that cause us not to know who our neighbors are. And if you think about it, I look back on what happened with me in the military. Every 3 years, they upped my whole family and me and moved me to another location. So you get in this routine of meeting people, having fun with people, and then cutting people off because you gone. You in for a minute, then you gone. Every 3 years, you move. So you meet all these people all over the country and all over the world, but you already got it in your mentality that this is temporary. This is not going to last long. You got to go because,
Well, we have foundational neighborhoods where you don't have that mobility, where people are there from birth to death, and that's the Black foundational neighborhoods I'm talking about, where our Black churches and Black institutions are located. They're going to have to step up their game. The churches, and the other social and civic organizations are going to have to step up to make sure that no kid is going without a meal in school. You have to take accountability.
So you saying like the churches can start food programs, feeding lunch?
Yeah. What stops them?
Nothing. They're getting all the money. Now let's say on a given Sunday, you got what 400 million people in church, Black people in church. No, I say you got 9 million people in church. That's a reasonable number. So every Sunday you got about 9 million Black people going to church.
Well, except for the day which is Communion Sunday, you probably got twice that number.
You probably got a lot more. Okay, so all these people going to church every Sunday. If they did this one thing, I'm telling you, we would rock this country to its knees. It's only one thing difficult. So let's say every Sunday we go to church, every type of average church going to collect $10,000 a Sunday. So every Sunday, sometimes you have better Sundays, sometimes you have worse Sundays, but on average, you collect $10,000 a Sunday. So once a quarter, you take in one city, in the city of San Antonio, you probably got, let's say you got 10,000 people in church today. You take that 10,000 people and you put them in the Alamo Dome or the Frost Center over there, and have one of the preachers preach. I mean, all the churches going to one place on one Sunday, one quarter, every 4 months. And because you do that, that one church that hosts the event at the big center, that church gets all the collections. So now your $10,000 for your little church can turn into $75,000 on one Sunday. So you do this part. Everybody government and you support one particular church, and whoever, I mean, you do your tithes or do whatever you do for the same as you would do in your home church for that one Sunday now. But eventually it's going to be your Sunday. So your average $10,000 a week or $40,000 a month, gonna all for that quarter where you get to host the event, you're gonna quadruple your Sunday's intake one time a year.
So you see,
Everybody get one time a year, huh?
see, because I believe if the black community could feed the protesters, could house the movement leaders, and bail people out of jail, and be the bail bondsman for all the civil rights workers back in the day, you can't tell me we can't fill that gap today when we got more influence and more money and more resources.
We got it. We already got that.
So why we we got what now?
Services today, but it ain't about what it was then. Back then, it was about civil rights. Right now, it's about making money, and black people, white people, trying to make money. And I'm glad you brought that point up. I love to support black business, and I'm sure many of us love to support black business. But how many times have we went to our black business trying to spend our money, and we gotta almost kick them in the kunduni to get them to step up their game to serve us to our standard? I mean, if every black business needs a boost every time you go see them, what's the problem here? What are we trying to say? I mean, I don't need to come to your business and tell you how to up your standard to serve me. I want your best quality service.
Right.
You should give me that without me having to identify something's going on here, something wrong here. You should have that pride and belief in your black business, and whatever you created, whatever it may be. It could be a cleaning crew. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you should give me your best. And if it's your best, and the customer thinks it's your best, then you on the right track. But if it's your best and the customer don't think it's your best, you get some stupid ass customers too, though. But you want it to be the best.
Right.
I know. I'm just saying. I hate to keep bringing up black businesses and talking like something ain't right here.
If we can go, I recently went to a regional conference. It was held at a white motel, and just on registration fees and what have you, black folks spent $1 million. That's for one conference. How many conferences do black folks go to every year? Conferences and workshops and all. And they're not staying at black hotels. They're not staying in the black community. I'm just saying we got to redirect our resources.
All this money, yeah.
It ain't the fact that we can't do everything that they trying to do to us. We got the resources to fill that gap. But we just got to redirect our resources. And I just don't think that we have the leadership.
There you go.
To help us.
I would love to support the NAACP if they were supporting black people. Seems like that's hard as hell to get.
We need maybe a group of black folks need to go to Charlotte, North Carolina next month. I think it's next month.
The convention.
To the convention and tell the NAACP that.
You want to go? We can go. Let's
Well,
go.
I don't know whether I'm the one to tell them that, but I wouldn't mind going to the convention.
I
It's
was
just
thinking
that
about it. I got an email for the invitation, and I'm still looking at it.
I got to go down there in September to a wedding in Charlotte, and my daughter's in her debutante season, so I got to kind of stuck going to a bunch of events in June and July.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't just the WCP. It's the churches. It's all our institutions.
So you think the church got the core responsibility to change the trajectory of our people?
I think the church has I think the church has the institutional ability to
And the
change.
background too.
They have the institutional ability. They have the trust of the community. They are located in the community. They're the bedrock of the community. Most white communities have banks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the money goes to the bank, and then the bank gives it back to the people.
Mm-hmm.
We got churches. We give all the money to the churches, and what happens to the money?
Goes to the white bank.
I don't see it coming back to the black.
So then you get to the white people.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we're not making good decisions on that.
So we have institutions that can fill in the gap. We just need leadership
to implement it, to get it going, to get it off the ground.
We need leadership to get them to focus on what I just said. If I'm sure where you live, how many banks in that community where you are?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, go back into District 2 and tell me how many banks are in there in District.
How many banks? I only know of three banks. It might be about 5, but I know of 3.
Okay, so the majority of banks are going to be in majority communities. That's where the banks are. I mean, I can drive down the street and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 banks on both sides of the street. You ain't even got to make a U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever side of the street you on, there's a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now drive through the black community. The only similar institution is a church. You drive through the community, you got a church on the left, church on the right, church on the left, church on the right.
Mm-hmm.
We got the infrastructure. We got the money.
Misusing it.
We just got to redirect it. I think we got to better appreciate how we can better direct it. And we just got to do it, man.
Yeah.
But it's going to take our legacy institutions. It's the NAACP, the Urban League, the fraternities, sororities, and all these legacy institutions are going to have to redirect our focus because that's our leadership. That's our voice.
And so our number one charge right now, in my mind, would be making sure our children are fed this summer. What do you think?
And if that's the and see here's the issue with that, and this is where we get into these class divisions and stuff like that. If our number one goal is to make sure that our children are fed this summer, it's not to make sure our children are fed. It's whose children are fed. We got people sleeping on the street in our community we pass by every day. We got homeless families and homeless. We got homeless children today before he cut the budget, and nobody gives a damn. When I was working in public education, there was families that was moving every day from hotel to hotel and kids in school from those families. So this problem ain't just been created because he's going to cut $268 billion. The problem has always been there. We just got to redirect our energies, our focus, our resources, and we just got to more visibly take care of our own. I think we got the resources, man. We got the money. We ain't broke. How that song go? I ain't no broke what? We
Go
ain't broke.
down. You've been listening to too many rap songs.
Beyonce ain't broke.
No, and I
Beyonce
mean, we got plenty of people with millions and millions of dollars.
millions and millions and millions and more millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't like
With no leadership capability.
we 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 talk about government as if government the states, we got 50 state governments.
Mm-hmm.
The federal, all the federal government is doing is saying we're not gonna give the states what we used to give the state.
Yeah, we ain't gonna keep carrying your ass. That's what they're saying.
But the state should care about all of its people. We are citizens of a state.
Mm-hmm.
We're part of a union.
Each state has the responsibility.
The reason why the government got involved in all these programs is because black people had no political clout in these states.
Mm-hmm.
Black children in Mississippi were starving to death. Mm-hmm. Black children in Alabama were going uneducated. The federal government had to step in
to make sure they get these things.
We got black folks in every state legislature now to make sure that those resources are properly allocated. Mm-hmm. If we keep doing the same thing the same old way as if ain't nothing changed, ain't nothing changed. If we keep pretending that ain't nothing changed, if you keep pretending that half the Mississippi legislature ain't black and that you need the government in the same ways you needed it when it was all white, ain't nothing really changed.
That's right.
We got black elected officials at the state, city, county, down to the precinct level to make sure that we get appropriate allocation of resources. So I just think that we need to retool our message. We still gonna hold the federal government responsible. We still gonna make sure that the federal government provides adequate resources to the states.
Mm-hmm. You brought up a great point about it's the state responsibility, and the state was not manning its responsibility to feed poor people or to house or to help assist poor people in their states.
Right.
So the federal government stepped in, which was good. But see what the federal government did, they stepped in all right, but at the same time they taxed the hell out of everybody. Well, so let's move into tax cuts, because I want to get this covered while in our time span. And that was one of the major points I wanted to bring up. Tax cuts. The tax cuts and job act said that free tips. You don't have to file income tax, and you don't have to get taxed on your overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you do have to file it, but you don't get taxed on it. So those are two very important points that are in this bill, and those 2 points are going to see it through, in my mind, because that's something people have been wanting for a long time. But the state and local tax, what it does, it raises the limit for people to pay from $10,000 to $40,000. I'm not quite sure how that incorporates, but that's what it does. It changes it from $10,000 to $40,000. Mm-hmm. But it benefits the higher income people because they will be paying less taxes.
Right.
Now, that's the sad part. And then the last part is about the child tax credit will go up to $2,500 until 2028. 2028, it goes down to $2,000. So those three things, the child care, child tax credit, the tips, and the overtime are the three things that are going to get this bill through. But the other part about it is the state and local tax part is going to
benefit the rich and the wealthy. They're not going to pay
Right.
that much in taxes. So
Right.
that's the sad part. But
Yeah.
I wanted that to be on the table so you know what these tax cuts are going to do.
Yeah, and I'm just saying until that get worked out in Congress,
Hmm.
because I think the legislation is going to change as it works its way through the Senate,
Hmm.
because you got a much closer what 2 vote margin in the Senate, 2 or 3 vote margin.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, so I think things are going to get changed, but I think you know I think what you're saying about the rich and about the tax cuts for the rich. I mean that's obviously that's a goal of this big beautiful plan is to ease the tax burden on the.
Hakeem Jeffrey called it the big ugly plane.
I mean that I mean I don't even think that's a secret no more. That's what that's the goal.
That's a fight, man. The goal is for the Democrats to not pass it, and the goal is for the Republicans to pass it. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, but I don't.
They're also going to fund the border wall. They're going to pay billions and maybe even $1 trillion to fund that wall to the state to build.
Well, nobody read the Project 2025. That was 900 and some pages. How big is this budget? How many pages? I think it's thousands of pages.
It's so much where people are not going to be able to suck out the things that go right.
People are not going to be able to digest it, and so basically, what you got the Democrats talking about certain aspects of it, you got the Republicans talking about the aspects of it that they want to promote, and I don't think the people are really any more informed. The Democrats are challenging it based on the very people I think that often gets overlooked. And that's the reason why they lost this election.
Yeah.
Because here again, they're using that silent majority, that group of people that don't have a voice to fight for a bill that they don't want to see pass. And then at the end of the day, the people at the bottom of the well still not going to get helped.
That's a fact.
So, but I think it's important that people understand how, like right here in the Houston metro area, hundreds of thousands of people are going to be hurt, going to lose their SNAP benefits. And I think the average benefit is only about $130 a month.
You can live on that. Some people can.
Well, it's a help. It's a supplemental program. It's not supposed to be the whole thing.
The main program it's helping you get through. It ain't gonna take care of the whole bill.
Yeah, $130 more a month ain't gonna feed you for the month. So it's supplemental. How about what's your thoughts on all the work requirements in the legislation?
When you say work requirements, can you be a little more specific?
Requiring the different categories of folks to go out and either do volunteer work or look for a job and that kind of stuff.
Well, right now you have thousands, probably even, I say thousands of people that are on these benefits that are capable of holding a job. And that jobs are easy to come by in some ways if you can have some home and you can still sustain your check that's coming from the federal government. But if you are that person, you just lazy and don't want to do what you're supposed to do, and you're grabbing these benefits, and I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about white folks, Mexicans, and black people at the bottom of the list. But you have to go out and start working. But how do you screen those individuals that you may think can go get a job? You have no system whatsoever in place to qualify a person for a job. And even if you qualify them for a job, you're going to go out and get them a job. You're going to give them employment. It's a double-edged sword. You can't just say, we can't do nothing for you. You're going to have to go get a job.
Now that person's out there working his butt off trying to find a job. They can't find a job. It's a whole process. And this whole process is not Democrat don't think things out. He just lay things. Just confusion. You can't make undecisiveness. You can't make a decision on what you want to do with your business. You can't make a decision on your purchases. You can't make a decision on buying houses or buying anything because you don't know how long you're going to be at a job. You don't know if your company going to be still in business a year from now. You don't know based on all the tariff and the undecisiveness things that he does. We don't know what's going to happen next. So we have to brace ourselves for the worst and hope for the best. And that's the only way we're going to be able to deal with these job situations. We don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming either. They just saying that sounds good to the people, that the Trump base. It sounds good to them, and they run with it. They don't have a clue on how what that means, on what's going to take place within that statement.
Right.
Any statements, nobody knows. Sports supposed to go up 50% on Wednesday. Did they go up? I have no clue. But every time you make these stupid statements, the Dow Jones go up or down. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's going down. Because people are not going to spend their money when they don't know if you're going to make a dumb decision. They're too sporadic. So with that, Claude, go ahead and formulate your closing and just let us have it and give us some of that wisdom that you bring into the table.
Well, I would just say that, as we talk about, policy issues, I think people got to get informed, get involved. And if you go to one of those legacy institutions, you make sure that's on the discussion table. If you attend a black church, make sure it's part of the discussion at that black church. I think we all have an individual responsibility to elevate the race. And what we try to do with this show is at least get the discussion started and give people some thoughts and ideas about what they can do individually. Because it's never been our collective effort that's made a difference. It's always been that single individual that stood up and said, I'm not going to take it anymore. Whether it was during slavery, whether it was during segregation, and even today, it's that single individual. So we can make a difference, but we have to get involved. We have to be able to stand up and let our voices be heard. And in order to do that, you need information. And what BNN 247 tries to do is bring pieces of that information so that you don't have to start from scratch. So I appreciate the program. I appreciate our audience, and I appreciate our host, Brother Bey, for his vision to have this program so that we can do just that.
Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. My name is Mr. Claude Foster, the co-host of BNN 247. I want to thank him for being present today, and I want to remove him from the show, from the screen right now. We're going to keep it moving, and thank you so much, Brother Claude. I will see you next Sunday.
All right.
That is our show today. But before we go, I want to recap on what we've talked about. And I want to start with the repealing of the 20th century, which is what I started with. And it's basically what's actually happening. He's doing everything he has put forward to happen in America. It has happened. And in order to do that, he has to focus on something that people are afraid of taking over them. And we are the ones that they are afraid of being the ones to take over. As I said, the talk about his opinion. And his plan include on this melanated skin. So if you're black, stay focused, my friends, and start focusing on what's under your feet
because your place of residence, your domicile, let me just clarify that. There's a difference between resident and domicile. Resident is in the Black's Law Dictionary is temporary. Domicile in the Black's Law Dictionary is a permanent state of stay for you. So you have a domicile, not a residence. So everybody in your residence has to focus on what's underneath your feet because things can change. Look at what's happening with the big, beautiful bill because it has passed in the House of Representatives and is now in the Senate. And we're hoping that the Senate don't pass that bill. But the way things have been going in America, the Senate will pass that bill. It's a big deal. Funding is a big deal. And healthcare is a bigger deal for America because where it looks, we're not going to have the same level of health care that we have here in this country. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting from a Black perspective. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Join us again on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. We'll broadcast again, Central Standard Time. You can also find us on YouTube, BNN247, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. BNN247, the Black News Network. And in some cases, you're going to see the Black information and news. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on these platforms. Please like us, subscribe, and leave us a message because that's what we do. We got to support each other, and I cannot do what I do without your support. So thank you so much for viewing this show, and I will see you again probably on TikTok as soon as I get out of TikTok jail.